Hi. Hello, everyone. We are back. The Most High God's baby girl is going to join me in a minute. And there she is. Hi, Sadika.
Hey,
Hi, Soraya. It's going to
can
take
you
me a
see
minute.
me?
Not yet. Nope.
Okay, there we
And
are.
there we are. And then I'm gonna see what I can do because I read up on some stuff and I might be able to do something. I don't see everything that it says I have the option to do, so I don't see it yet. There's gotta be a way. I there's something that you press to give you the format,
Okay.
and that's what I'm trying to see. And I don't see those options. Maximum spots. Two.
Okay.
Two. That's a
Yay!
little better. Okay, so let me try it again. Let me see. Maximum spots. Let's say, oh, it only lets me do two.
Well,
Uh,
that's better. At least I'm not tiny, teeny tiny.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know.
It's supposed to give me the option. Ooh, ooh, ooh.
Hey, hottie ice.
It's supposed to give me the option of side by side, but I don't see that option. So this is better.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep. Hey, TC Rose. You know what? I just have to say while people are coming in, I've been watching lives, just trying to be like literally there are like people doing the most random things on live. Did I tell you I saw somebody at work? I was like, wow. Anyway, that was
Really?
yeah, like at work. I was like, okay, that's how we get down. It's Friday night. Let's go. Turn up.
Okay. All right, cool. Hi everyone. I'm trying to get it side by side, but I'm not given that option, unfortunately. But at least we can see your face. You're not like Ant-Man. Um,
Right.
it's a little better. Welcome back, everyone, to the Ascension Lab with the Most High uh, God, baby
The
girl.
most highest baby girl.
Oh, goodness
I'm a
gracious,
baby girl. I'm the most highest baby girl.
baby girl. See, she's in a younger generation, so I have to use every word. I'm like, I still say, thank you instead of thanks, or
I can't keep up with all the sayings and stuff. I try to like I'd be like, okay, I have to chat GPT when the youngins send me too many things I don't understand.
yeah, yeah. It was so funny. I saw this video the other day of this
Hey,
girl.
what is Pieces of David? What was that?
David was the
Thank
fun
you.
horror film that I did. Hi, TC.
Oh, TC. Is it
Mhm.
TC or TK?
TC Rose.
Got it.
TK is also my buddy. Hey, girl, are you on here? I've been. Anyway, yeah. So, anyway, there was this funny video of this woman
Hey,
talking about she was Generation X and she was doing a master class with all the boomers and Generation Xers, trying to teach them about the different slang and what it means and what it used to mean and what it means now. It was hilarious. It was very funny because I totally related to everything she said. I was like, really? That means that? Oh my gosh. But I was never cool. So I never knew what the slang meant. Yeah.
all right.
So we're here tonight again, everybody. We were both traveling last week, and so we are back tonight. And I'm excited about the topic tonight. I call it playtime.
Nice.
Playtime. We're talking about how we get so caught up in life as we get older, get past a certain age that we stop playing, we stop having fun and taking care of ourselves that way. We spend a lot of time working, caring for our families. We might even do some like spiritual practices or whatever, but playing, however you like to do it, is a spiritual practice, I think, in its way. Um, Tell me about your journey with Exotica, because I know you've been.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I came to a moment because y'all back in the day, like I remember even in when I went to Princeton in college, I was a dancing sister. I was in those classes, but like on the weekends, I was always the one dancing, laughing, listening to music, having fun. And like now that, for a long time as an adult, I feel like I got caught up, like you said, in just living and working. And like, I got round kind of around the middle, and it's like the older you get and don't move, the stiffer you get. You look up, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm not even moving like how I used to. And I just kind of got lost in just working and raising kids. And I went through, last show we went to, I've been going through this whole spiritual journey, and like I'm really focusing on spiritual practice and ascension and leveling up. And I'm trying to like step into my calling as a spiritual teacher and an influencer, and like really following my passion. And I'm like, I got real serious one night, real serious, and I meditated and I said, tell me what I need in order to level up. And the spirit said, you need to lighten up. You need to have fun. You need to laugh like how you used to. You need to get back to that girl that was dancing that hopefully nobody took video of back in college days. You need to get to that person who was sing. You need to lighten up. You need to have fun. You don't need to be so serious. Don't you take yourself too seriously. And so, like, I think that was kind of my wake up call. Like, okay, of course there are times to be serious, but you know, back in college, I had that motto: work hard, play harder. And I
Mhm.
think that that is applicable. People always think God is all serious, but God is fun too, really is and truly. And God wants us to be light, especially in such a dark time, like a time like this where things are so dark. We have to be light. We have to have fun. We have to be joyous to get up out the funk of the dark that's making everybody depressed. So that's my
Mhm.
take on it. Is like now is the time to dance. Like it don't make no sense stuff that earthquakes and fires and floods, oh my, and whatever. But like we have to seriously, we seriously have to have joy. I guess that God didn't put us here, um, to just work every day and do the same thing. God brought us here to live, like to experience and live while we're here on this earth. And so, yes, TC, I agree. The older we realize you do have to have that spiritual prioritization in your life, and you do have to live by God's rules. And I think at the same time, like God wants us to know that we are here to live in abundance. We are here we deserve abundance. We deserve to laugh and have fun and to love each other. And I think that's the other side of God that I definitely want to bring out and want to promote when talking to people.
Yeah, when I was a kid, I was born an old lady. Okay, I literally don't ever remember laughing and having fun when I was a kid. I just don't. I didn't have time. Our mom was going through her physical trauma, and daddy was working three jobs and not around all the time, and there was a lot of angst and stuff, and mommy needed help. And so in the beginning, before the rest of the kids, how I helped her was learning how to walk as soon as possible by 6 months. Learning how to, I was potty trained by 6 months. I had to be more than a baby. I had to grow up like super fast. And then I remember Hassan is only 2 years younger than me, but I remember changing diapers, you know, So I always had so much responsibility, and I was so serious about my craft. I was so serious about church and all of that kind of stuff. And I'll never forget, Daddy was not always the nicest guy. He
Right.
wasn't always the nicest guy. And one day, I don't know what he saw in me. I don't know why he said this, what prompted it. But outside of the church, he pulled me to the side and he was like, "You are not that nice. You are not as nice as you think you are." I was like, "Dang, what does that mean? What I do?" You know, but it shook me up and I never forgot it because I took it, sometimes you got to just dig in and try to understand what something means to you, even if you don't understand what they're saying.
Right.
And I just took that to mean that I was being far too serious in his opinion. And Daddy partied. So,
Right.
Daddy took things very seriously, but he also had a lot of fun. But
Well,
I was having fun in my way, but it was always connected to a goal, to, my future. It just wasn't having fun for the sake of having fun. Even when I was little, it was like therapy, self therapy when I played by myself, because I always played alone. I was always by myself. And so it always had, it didn't have that fun thing. I did a movie once and the director said to me, he said, the only emotion that I do not believe from you is happy.
that's messed up.
Yeah. He said, everything else you say or do, I believe you 100. I believe fear. I believe anger. I believe upset. I believe angst. I believe it all, but I do not believe happy. You need to find happy. And I was like,
It's hard to feel
dang.
happy when you're not in a happy place, though. You know? I mean, and I just think about when I was a kid and I was carefree, I was happy. I thought I could fly. Things are so different. I'm an 80s baby. And so, like, growing up in the 90s, the early 90s, I was on my bike. I was on my bike. I grew up in Muncie, Indiana, which was a small
Exactly.
town. And
Totally
like
different.
that was when you could do stuff. We didn't, I feel like I'm so restrictive as a parent now. I have to like make sure my kids, I know where to go. They can't walk alone. But when I was a kid, I was on my bike loose, and like it did feel good. It felt good. And
Yeah.
like we used to go to the YMCA, and it was like our parents would just they'd tell us be home by a certain time. If they were like go do what you do, go to the Y, go and me and Monica, we used to go to the Y, and we used to watch the boys play basketball, like doing too much and like doing those things. But like we very much lived a life where we got to do what we wanted to do, and we didn't have to be worried about people like coming after us or trying to hurt us.
Y'all had a very different childhood than we did. Because
Well,
we lived in, the wild hundreds
in Chicago.
in Chicago. Now when we were there in our earlier years, it wasn't so wild yet, but it got wild pretty quickly. And I literally saw things a child should not see.
Mm,
I just did, just walk into the grocery store, and this happened to me multiple times. People walking up, males walking up and exposing themselves to me, and our garage being broken into, someone stealing my father's Corvette. There was just so many things, and then Daddy being a cop, because Daddy didn't live with you guys, so
right.
you didn't experience the protective nature of him that way. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't even. Almost everybody lived in the neighborhood with boys, and I wasn't really allowed to play with the
You,
boys, so
you
I
know
was by
what?
myself.
But to me, that like that stresses to me environment really does matter. Like where you choose to raise your family, right? Like, and I am just now understanding about like how things affect our nervous systems and like how being in certain environments when you're in a constant state of like worry versus
Mhm.
carefree definitely will affect your whole feeling of how safe you feel, you know? And that
Mhm.
really does affect like the fears that you will carry into your adulthood because like you grew up with those situations. I'm a product. I'm the first that was born in Muncie from our family out of 5 kids. I
Mhm.
grew up riding my bike totally carefree. And then at the same time, I actually got to enjoy that part of my childhood where I would like Saturday lineup. We used to wake up just to watch the Saturday lineup in the morning. You
That's
know,
the
like
thing. Y'all could do that. We watched the news and sports. That
oh
was it. We didn't have cartoons. The only time I could squeeze a cartoon is in was if I came home right after school. I was supposed
oh
to come home
no.
and read, no matter if I had homework or not. I was supposed to come home and read, but I would always try to throw on the Flintstones. That's how far back I go.
Ooh, the Flint
And the
look,
Flintstones.
look,
We didn't have your childhood at
oh my
all.
God. Yeah, no, I mean, but there are like, of course I have my own stuff, but like, there was a Saturday morning lineup with Captain Planet and like it was everything was coming on Saturday morning and that's really unfortunate that you that you didn't get to. So what did you do for fun then? What was like what was well, how did you feel carefree as a kid? Like, what did you in an environment that was more restrictive and where you kind of didn't have as much freedom for fear, right? Safety concerns. What did you do to be carefree? What was your favorite thing to do? What was your favorite game or toy that you had, for example?
Well, first of all, we didn't have that many toys. Different time. We got one gift a year, maybe. Okay. So we didn't have a lot of stuff. But there was a closet underneath the stairs in the basement. So we had a partially finished basement and then the laundry room and whatever. And there was a closet underneath the stairs. It was a canning closet, it was for putting fruits and vegetables that you canned. I would go in that room and I would talk to all my imaginary people. You know, I didn't see folks. I didn't have like a quote unquote imaginary friend, but I was literally acting from I can't even remember how old I was. I was so young. I would have full on parties by myself with other people in my imagination. That was it because I was always cleaning the house and helping to cook and raking the yard and working. And that's why I love to work.
Hmm.
I love to clean because it was such a big part of my childhood that it was something I had to do. I saw Frederick on Saturdays, me every other day. And so I didn't really have that kind of carefree nothing. I didn't go to parties when I was in high school. I did have a girl friend who's still my friend, Yogi, uh, Yolanda Harris, who at least two times that I can remember, and maybe probably more, she would have basement parties, you know? And so we would go over there and hang out with all our friends. And this is middle school, right? So it's sixth, seventh, and eighth graders. And we're down in there and we're listening to music and we're dancing and stuff like that. So that was fun, but I didn't do that often because daddy was so strict. He was just very, very strict. We couldn't do many things. And then I had another girl around the block, Deborah Fields. I would go by her house once in a while. But I didn't really start having fun until my 20s.
Yeah, I'm definitely like, we were going to get later on in the segment about things that actually, kind of like, it seems like to me, your whole environment kind of made you grow up fast. And
Oh, yeah.
like, my environment with mom was like I did the Saturday cartoon lineup, rode the bikes out, and
Mhm.
then when it came to my favorite game, like I'm a Disney fanatic. Like Disney movies, shows, like in terms of cuz I'm creative too. I'm creative, I draw, I sing, all of that. But like Disney, I totally threw myself and immersed in that, like, those movies. And also, Frederick, we didn't get many gifts either, but Frederick bought me a Sega. Our brother bought me a Sega, and like I wouldn't stop playing on the Sega. That's like where I sat playing Sonic the Hedgehog or something. So I was a child in that respect, but it was because I had a lot of freedom. And the freedom was that I was pretty much unsupervised, right? So I raised myself. So here we go. It's the duality situation where like I was able to really be carefree and kind of do what I wanted to do and be creative, but at the same time I was kind of raising myself because Cindy, you had went away. It was just me and Monica, and we were raising ourselves, including like cleaning. So it was kind of like a kid town, where we were doing what we were doing, but at the same time, it was definitely growing up too fast because we had to do all of the adult things, right? We had to try to do them. We didn't do them that well, like
You weren't
breaking.
taught. You
Right.
when I left, you were still babies, so I didn't
Yeah.
have time to really teach you anything before I went off and the movie career began. Because that's how much older I am than this chick. I was 16 when Sadaka was born, and 14 when Monica was born. So within 2 years of your birth, I was going to college. And so, yeah, I wasn't there long enough to teach you all the stuff that I'd been taught. Literally, my whole life was cleaning, cooking, singing, dancing, and acting.
But I was gonna
And
say, but
church.
within the cooking and cleaning, though, your imagination was rampant, right? It was allowed to thrive because of that. Like
That's how I started acting because
exactly.
I was by myself. I didn't have nobody else to talk to, so I talked to my dang on self and created characters and all of that. I don't at all. Uh, I loved parts of my childhood. It just wasn't like a lot of kids. I didn't learn how to start having fun. I literally went to college for 4 years and went to one party. That's
That's
it.
crazy.
I
See,
never went to a high school party. I
well,
never.
I never really. I mean, there were like some high school parties I went to. I went to a certain high school, so it wasn't like that. But I definitely, I think, you know, I am a hard worker. And
Mhm.
so when I decide to focus on what I focus on, I go hard. But I am like, at the same time, I'm like, if I'm going to go hard working, then I need to have fun. And like, college, like, I worked so hard and then I partied harder. Like, by the time I got out of college, I never wanted to go back to a club, like, ever. And like I was like, if you can call a wild spirit, that definitely was.
That's your Leo sign. Yeah, that's the Leo.
I definitely was a good night, TC.
Bye.
Uh, it definitely was a wild spirit in college, with the dancing and like I think if I can think about the last time where I was like really carefree, right? I had obligations in college, but like carefree, dancing, really bright, laughing, Sadaka, like Soraya was back in college. Like it was like, and I have, since then, like with my kids, I think what I want to get back to is the Just Dance. Or have y'all ever done Michael Jackson Dance Nation? Has anybody ever done Michael Jackson Dance Nation with you and your family?
I know that Sophia did all that. But I love to dance, but I don't like choreography. I want to just do what I want to do.
Oh, I
And
know you do. I mean, like you be in the moment, you be feeling that vibe and the groove.
that was years of for years I didn't do it. So yeah, it was I needed to when I got into college. But one thing that we did do is when we have family gatherings, this was before y'all were born, we would play games.
Hmm.
We would play board games. We would do little performances. We had so much fun. That's why every Christmas, Thanksgiving, Fourth of July was such an exciting time because we knew that the family was all going to come and we were going to play games. And we played Monopoly, we played Chinese checkers, we played checkers, we played all these word games, password, and all this kind of stuff. And I was never super comfortable with competition because I didn't like to lose. I just didn't like to lose. So I got to the point where I learned how to just compete with me.
Hmm.
And so I could actually play and have fun instead of being like my daughter is and get mad. So
Wait,
I had fun because I didn't care if they won. I was just playing against me.
what? You see, TK said, "What about Uno? I love Uno. Uno.
Uno came later. That was before my time. That
Look,
was
I
before.
like board games too. I'm
Mhm.
just now getting back into the board games. Like we're trying to get into it. Like I've tried with Monopoly, y'all. I struggle though. I really struggle.
I don't like Monopoly. Oh, I can't stand it.
It's
Especially although now they have a new version of it. It's a shorter version.
okay.
I could not stand those 4-hour Monopoly games. Oh my
No,
gosh, I
it
couldn't.
takes forever. This generation too, like they got a time span or attention span of nothing, trying to sit
Mhm.
down and play them that board game. But yeah, I would like
Yeah.
to. Taboo, now too is I think it's fun.
Yeah, I love Taboo. I love those kind of games. So when I moved to LA after I'd been in New York for a couple of years, which is when I really started to party, when I started going out to the clubs and dancing and all of that. When I moved to LA, I kind of wanted to bring that kind of community feel that I had in Brooklyn to LA. But LA is a different kind of place, you know what I'm saying? It's so wide open and far away. You literally are driving an hour to go visit a friend, and so it was a different experience. And but for I don't know if it was a year or two, my husband at the time, Arthur, and we would have game nights and we would have parties with artists because we really wanted to create like an artist collective, right, Brad? We wanted to have a collection of artists come together. You teach me how to do some visual arts, and I'll work with you on a monologue or different kind of stuff. And so we did that for a couple of years, and it was so much fun. But
Hmm.
I'm gonna tell you, when I really, then life gets happening and you just live and then you have a kid and they play, but you working all the time. But a couple of years ago, I was visiting you and I noticed that your girls weren't playing. You have your daughters, your teenage daughters, and especially Safira. I was noticing that she stayed in the basement, during the whole summer. I'm like, girl, get up, let's go.
Hmm.
What are you doing down here? Come on. She's like, what is there to do? I don't have anything to do. I'm bored. I'm like, what are you talking about? Bored? There's a million things to do. Go outside, blah. And she
Your
plays,
kids
she
don't want to
loves
hear
it.
go outside.
No,
They
they don't want to hear.
it's
They ride a bike. What?
oh my gosh. I saw this boy trying to ride the bike the other day. It was like he was trying to learn how to ride the bike while he was trying to go across the street. I was like, wow. This is some
Yeah.
time that we're in right now.
Yeah,
Anyway.
it's a different world. The video games kind of like changed everything. I think there's something so fulfilling to people for playing video games. It's a dopamine rush from what I understand. And so it's like it's addictive. And so the kids have a hard time walking away from that. I think it's getting a little better now. But they still have other things. They have their phones and they have their.
Look at the malls. Like to me, because when we were growing up, we talk about fun, like the malls. Um, you know, going to the malls for some people were fun, but now we don't even got the malls. And like, I was thinking I used to know how to skate, like roller, you know, like I used to know, I used to go to the skating rink and I used to know how to do it. I tried to do it as an adult and I totally failed. Like it was terrible. And then they all laughed at me. And I,
Yeah. I was always bad on any wheels besides a car and a bicycle. I suck.
but you
Right?
know what? The skating rink stands, y'all. Like especially in Chicago and the south suburbs, those folks who go skating are serious about skating, and
Woo,
they will
baby.
run you over.
And they, when I was back in my day, they made movies about it. That was the thing. That was the Saturday night thing. Everybody, and they would be flipping and dancing and doing, and I'm like, I never got it. I never understood why I had
It
no
gives you a
balance.
rush. You feel like you're flying. I remember when I was young and I used to skate, I used to feel like I was flying. Like the rhythm of it. You know, especially your jam, your music, you just be like, and then especially if you're like skating with other people, it does. It gives you a rush. But yeah, TK, bowling too. You know, bowling in Chicago is also a thing. People get the drinks, people have fun, you
And
know.
there's Bidwest, there's the card games, there's the,
Uh-huh.
what's it called? It's the one kind, spades. Spades,
Yep,
that's a big
spades.
one.
But you know
Um,
what? What's upsetting is that there are so many like it's so much violence nowadays. I feel like a lot of people don't want to go out to public places like that. You know,
mhm.
I think the skating rink and places like that, you know, is cool. I don't really hear anything about bowling, but like other places that you go to, it's like people just want to stay in nowadays. That at least that's what I hear people talking about.
Yeah, and they've at least my experience having come back to the area is now they're very, very adamant about not young letting people under 25 in to certain places until a certain time.
I
So
mean,
it'll be like we're my generation, whatever, can be in this karaoke club, say, and we can stay forever. But they cannot come in until 10 o'clock at night because typically it's a guard change,
right.
We
We
leave,
going home.
we going home, and they're coming in.
We
And
going to bed.
that's when the behavior begins.
Right.
And we are happy with that. I mean, I'm a little thinking about my daughter. I'm like, I want my daughter to be able to come out with me, but it's going to be a couple years till she can, because they're like, not every place is like that, but most places are. They don't allow people under 25 to come in because they're like, y'all fools. Y'all got too much something going on. So no, you can't come in and let these older people have fun. And so it's actually a smart strategy for
Yeah.
restaurants and clubs and stuff, because they get two sets of whole groups of people that they cater to. Like they have DJs. The DJs will do the whole thing for the older crowd. They'll mix in some new stuff, but they'll keep it, a little less about, people's behinds and stuff like that. And but then later on, as you can always tell when the young folks are starting to come, first of all, it's starting to get crowded. It's starting to smell the vape. And then all of a sudden the music completely changes, and it's really, so it's like, okay, it's been
Right.
real. Some guys,
I
it's
want to
starting.
look. I want to be able to sit down. These are my rules for when I go out to have fun now as an adult, right?
Mhm.
I don't want anybody, I don't want nobody tearing up things like TK's. I don't want nobody tearing up nothing. I want to have good food. I want to be able to have a conversation. I want, what else? What else am I missing? What else am I missing from what we need to have a good time? Good
I think,
music, of course. You know,
yeah.
we want some good music, whether it's jazz or hip hop or whatever we listening to. Some good music and good company. But all that other, like I know a place isn't for me by like how packed out it is. Like if it's too many people,
I
uh,
can't.
I
I
can't do it.
can't do it. It's too much energy. I can't go to a concert where there's people packed in on a floor. No, give me a seat.
Right.
If I want to stand up, I want to be able to see, but I don't want to be packed in. And I've always been that way. When I was going to clubs in LA, my cousin Anissa and my friend Nisi Payne, we would go when it opened. We would get there by 9 o'clock, get free drinks from all the promoters, dance for 3 hours, and then as soon as all the latecomers gotta be special, see me coming in late, I'm walking out the
Right.
door. I'm saying it's been real. I got 3 hours of hardcore sweaty dancing on with the most amazing music, me and two other women, and we danced our tails off, and then we go
Right.
home and have a little
I
drink of
don't.
food and
I'm with
chill.
TK too. I don't need to be smelling no armpits. I don't want.
Woo!
I don't want to smell no armpits or in the floor when the floor gets squeaky like that too.
Mhm. Can I tell you a story? I have to tell you this story because it just is appropriate. So I went to visit my brother and his wife in Texas, right? And they have this friend, they're near Dallas. And so they have this friend who is very outgoing, fun loving, loud lady. She's just fun. And she's like, "You want to go dancing?" I was like, "Yeah, I want to go. Let's go dancing." So we and another friend went dancing. And it's packed already. It's early and it's packed. Why was when I dancing, all of a sudden I feel somebody's something in between the crack of my behind.
I've
I'm
had that
like,
happen before back in college.
what? What the heck? And I was like, I turned around and I'm like,
The
back up
audacity.
off me. And it kept happening. And then I started watching and noticing, yeah, girl. Then I started noticing that was like the greeting. Instead of a guy coming up and saying, "Hi, honey, you want to dance?" Or,
No,
"Ooh, you fine." But no, they come up behind you, put themselves in the spot, in the sweet spot, and grind.
no,
That was the greeting.
no.
So I ended up like putting myself up against the wall, trying to protect my backside. And then why, oh, why did somebody try to squeeze back there anyway?
That's
It was
hilarious.
just, it was nuts. It was
No.
nuts. I was like, what is wrong with these people? But it was a Dallas thing. I hope that's still not a Dallas thing.
Oh
But
my gosh. No, see, that's where I perfected like the art of like whenever I would see somebody trying to come dance with me, I would just skip on away. Cause look, when I used to and still today, when I go out and dance, I don't want to dance with nobody. I want to dance with myself. I want to ride the beat. I want to zone out and have a good time. Just cause I'm out the dance floor. Now, if you know if the song calls for it and the occasion calls for it and it's somebody and they want to step with me or groove with me, then I'm going, yeah, definitely I'm gonna dance. I'll dance with them like that, but that all grinding stuff, no, no, I'm good. I don't want to
I,
have
I only want to
people
do it
touching me when I don't know you. That's the first
right.
part.
I only want to do that with my partner if I have a partner. And if I don't have a partner, I'll dance alone. Thank you. I don't mind, like the line dancing kind of stuff. Now that's fun.
Oh yeah, no, we got to start doing that. We got to
Yes.
find. Hey, if anybody in the chat knows in the Chicagoland area any good place to line dance, drop it, please, because
Yeah.
I want to know where we can go and line dance. Now I gotta. I know a good number of them. I don't know. There's some newer ones though that I don't know. You know.
Yeah. It's so much fun. So Saudi, so this is called the Ascension Lab. So what does this have to do with that? What do you think it has to do with ascending?
I think honestly, ascension is all about being light. And like, you can think of that in many different ways. Like, but when I say light, it's about like you have to be joyful. You need to learn how to not be so serious. You have to learn how to laugh. You have to learn how to enjoy this experience, even if you're going through tough times, right? Because I believe probably most everybody right now is going through extremely hard, probably difficult times. You got to learn, even when you're going through the journey, to find the joy. That's what really, so that's what this is all about, is like you have to tap into your inner child. But in some cases, like it might not be your inner child if you've had a harder childhood. But when we say inner child, I think we think about being creative. We think about being more wild and carefree, and not being programmed and restricted, right? In terms of limitations put out or put on us, and allowing yourself to have the freedom to just be you. Not to be who anybody else wants you to be, but just to be who you authentically are. Like you're the little girl who, used to clean and do different things, and you had whole, plays going on in your mind with your with your imagination. There were no, boundaries that were put on you in that moment. You just, did it. I used to, my imagination too is wild. Like, where I used to at night, I used to like have whole movies playing in my head before I went to sleep at night. And like I lived there, and like back as a child, like you couldn't tell me, that I can't dream that, or I can't be this or anything. That's honestly what sparked my journey and how I eventually came who I am. So I think the point of this show today is like we all have to like go back to our childhood and just reflect and say, okay, regardless of our experience, if it was more carefree like mine, or if it was more restrictive like you, like what does your inner child want from us today? Like if you as a now, Cindy, like now, or older adult, what would your inner child ask you to do today? And what would you tell your inner child as a grown up?
Well, my inner child been telling me go dancing. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? Dance. And not just at a club. Dance at home. Dance alone. Dance with other people. Dance with a partner. Because there is something about the physical physicality of dance. And that's why I've never really gotten too deeply into learning dance crazes, because to me that's restrictive, because then you got to do what everybody else is doing. I like free form dance. That's why I loved when I was dancing, in entertainment. I love that modern dance before really anything else. Jazz was fun, tap was great, but modern was free. And so, I'll get out there, and some people, especially my black folks, will be like, "Oh, you white. You act like you white. You got white in you." But then other people will be like, "Oh my God, I just love the freedom in you. You look like you're having so much fun." And I just know that for me, dance is a way to release, to completely let go. When I was a kid, I was so shy that I would talk to myself and all of that, but I would never do anything in front of anyone else. I would sing for my family and do the little poems or whatever. But I remember when I was in seventh grade, we had a class party. I don't remember what the affair was, but it was a class party. And they had moved all the desks around the perimeter of the room, and all the kids were dancing. And I was sitting there and I was looking at them, and I was like, what is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? Why are you, who cares what they think? Who cares? And I literally jumped out on that floor and just started doing me.
Right.
And me didn't have great rhythm at the time. And me and me had never really explored that part of myself. But that was the day that I made friends finally, seventh grade, 12. Made friends. Um, some people laughed, and some people laughed out of joy because they could see this girl that they've been watching for years who never said a thing open up and in
Yeah.
my way fly, in my way fly.
Well, that's
But
interesting that you said that, because like when I was thinking what my inner child would say, it'd be like, you can fly. Like I literally had a dream last night that I was flying. And like once I started flying, I started trying to teach everybody else how to fly. And hey Shar, but yeah, like, you know, it's just, it's about that lightness. Like, I feel like this world, like, if you can imagine, like, this world kind of like, it's like a whole bunch of ropes that just kind of pull you down to be like, hey, you have to stay grounded here on, you can't rise to, you got to be serious. Everything is super heavy all the time. But dancing, what does that do? That lightens you up, and it allows you just to be free and to not be conscious, constantly thinking, well, can I do this or can I do that? You're just in the moment. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's being in the moment that
It's
makes you
being
feel
in the
better.
moment, it's being authentic, it's not caring what anybody else thinks. Because I remember one time when I went to this place, it was a rock and roll, very famous rock and roll place. I can't remember what it was called in Boys Town in LA. And I went with this couple, and the lady was a dancer, and she was a modern dancer, and she was flipping around through those people. She was doing she was diving. It was hilarious, and she didn't care what anybody thought about it. And literally everybody moved out of her way, so she had a great big open spot. But I loved it. I was like, "You go, girl. Just take your stage and do what you want to do." And
Oh, was I
it
with you one time? Did I see that?
no, you were a baby when that was
Okay.
when I was young. That's when you
Okay.
were still young. But I it was a dancer friend of mine who was really quirky and different, and she just didn't care. And
I love what TK said about releasing that build up stress, because that is why in college, honestly, because I was working so hard, dancing was like my chance to just get rid of all that stress. It was, it kept me moving. I mean, like, I was working out, but like, it was a major stress like relief to be able to do that, because like, you know what it is, like when we talk about going on trips, and like now as we're getting older, if you talk about people going out and having a good time, a lot of times people be like, well, I'm tired, or they'll say, I don't have the money, or they'll say, well, I gotta stay focused. And like, I feel like we have to make space to give ourselves time to have fun. We
mhm.
have to, for our mental health, for so that we can get that stress up off of us, so that we can laugh and be light and remember what it's like to enjoy ourselves, to
Back
have,
in the day, we used to have house parties. You know, if you have a house party, you know everybody that's going to be there. You don't invite strangers, right? If
right,
somebody want to invite someone, and that is where you play the games, and that is where you a bunch of adults can get together and have a blast. I mean, I remember that with our parents, they would have these gatherings, and it was so much fun, unless everybody got too drunk. Then it wasn't as much fun. But I think we need to find community that way. I believe that it's important to play by yourself, have
right.
fun, but I also believe that connecting with people that you trust and love, instead of getting together and talking about politics and throwing food across the room,
Right.
or
Oh, no politics.
yeah, or religion, or any other hot topic that's gonna press a button that people disagree on. We all know we disagree on things, but let's find some ways to agree and have fun together. Now I did do this, and I wasn't good at it. I just wasn't good at that many things that other people were good at. But I wasn't good at double dutch, okay? But it was so much fun, even though I couldn't do the twists and turns and the flips that everybody else could do, all my friends could do. But just going back and forth and doing that double dutch. And it was great exercise. And I know, like in Atlanta, they have double dutch groups of women that get together and play double dutch together.
Now, Cynda, so I know, like, we were talking about different games to play together.
Mhm.
The double dutch thing, I don't know. I
It,
don't know.
if you got the right rope, because really what you need is the old school covered lines for hanging clothes. You
Uh-huh.
get, instead of rope, you get that because it's heavier. And all you got to do, literally, if you're in the middle, just jumping up and down, you will get it. It's
Oh,
just, it's about rhythm.
look, I'm gonna have to stretch. I'm gonna be like, before I,
My whole thing is jumping anywhere. These knees are crickety crackety.
I'm talking about my hips. I'm gonna have to do some. You're like,
Oh
oh,
yeah. I was watching this video the other day with this lady who was in her 60s who needed to lose about 70, 80 pounds. And it was a really quick little journey, but they showed her trying to jump. And
uh-huh.
her trainer was like, come on, keep
Can
on
I put
going.
it out there for the big breasted women too? Jumping ain't our thing. Like, or at least for me. Like, I need like a super, super supportive sports bra.
Champion
I'm
is the
sorry.
champ.
Cause like,
Champion bras for another one are the only thing that keeps it so that I can,
'cause
right?
they got a
I can
life of their own.
they
Like
got they're like but boom but boom and I can't handle it. I can't handle it. I remember when I grew these things for that summer. It's like I started off the summer with nothing. I could do the ham bone just right, and then by the end of the summer, no more ham bone. I couldn't hit my chest anymore without
that's,
pain.
that's my primary obstacle for double dutching because I'm gonna be thinking about how one going up and one going down, and I'm supposed to be jumping. I don't know about this.
I'm telling you,
I just don't.
champion bras, sports bras work. And that was when I was like at my biggest during menopause, man. Them things was massive. It was like I couldn't breathe. I was literally smothering myself in my sleep.
I think this conversation is pointing out another thing about your inner child fun. You gotta laugh at yourself. Like, and
Yes.
especially when you're trying new things, new games and stuff, like you gotta laugh at yourself. Like, y'all, I laugh at myself all the time. Like, do I like that? Would I want to be jump roping and double dutching with my issue? Probably not. Y'all gonna like if I was on camera, y'all be laugh, everybody be laughing, but I laugh too. Like we,
Exactly. If you don't know how to laugh at yourself, it's hard to be a kid because kids, little kids especially, they laugh. They laugh at each other. They laugh. That is so healing. Talking about, ascending to laugh. First of all, it's physical exercise. You can lose weight with laughter. Not to mention releasing that angst that you were talking about earlier. And
uh-huh.
it's just, one time I went dancing I had a DJ boyfriend and I would do with him. This is before I moved to LA and whatever. It was my senior year in college. And I would go with him because I love to dance. And I would go out on the floor when he first got to work and nobody'd be out there but me. And one night we went to this place and it was a square dance floor surrounded like a horseshoe,
Uh-huh.
on three sides there were people and nobody was dancing. And it was super hot outside and the floor had dew on it. And I got out there and I am dancing and why do both feet come
Oh,
out from under me and I end up on my back. And I screamed as loud as I could. And then I jumped up and I started dancing again. That crowd, they died. They were laughing so hard, but guess what? They got up and they
they
danced.
did too. Look, okay, I got my story for we. I know we're ahead of the time. Look, I went to New Orleans for work. I had the time of my life. I like it was after work. We were in the quarters. I had never rode a bull before. One of the
Hmm.
mechanical bulls.
Oh, okay. Hmm.
I rode that bull so good, and it was all my work colleagues. I rode this. They took out their cameras and
Wow.
started recording me on a mechanical bull. And
Hmm.
like it became this thing afterwards because like it they had got the video of me riding that bull and then they circulated it. And at first I was like, oh, y'all done got me on on the bull. But then I was like, okay, let me laugh with everybody right now. Let me just laugh because everyone was like, oh, and then it became fun. The moment that I lightened up, it became fun, and then we all started going back to see who could outride the bull better than me. So it's just like your attitude really will matter. Because at first I was mad, but then I was like, oh no, whatever.
Nah, you can't be sensitive. You got to laugh at yourself. That's why, I think I really drive certain people crazy because sometimes people say really mean things. And it doesn't bother me. It's like, you're not embarrassing me. That doesn't hurt my feelings. And here, let me give you a hug,
exactly.
there's always going to be haters and people that try to, they don't enjoy that you're enjoying yourself. And you got to keep on enjoying it yourself,
Even I love to end this way. No matter what the haters say, don't let them dim your light. Let your youthful spirit shine through. Because I have people saying the same kind of stuff. Like, who you think? Like today, I had haters. Look, I got on a bow. I got on the Care Bear. Let me see. I got a Care Bear shirt on. I got a. By haters, I mean my teenage daughters. But they were like, "Who do you think you are? Like, who with orange? Like, why are you so?" They were like, "Why don't you act your age?" Is what they said. I said, "I am acting my age. Like, I'm feeling very radiant, and I'm feeling very berry. Like, leave me alone. Like, don't be dimming me. I can shine. I can have fun. Like, I can be light. I don't have to be all serious and uptight and rigid and
Oh
crusty."
yeah, my biggest hater was my daughter for the longest time, but she secretly loved it. You know what I mean? Because I was when Sophia was a baby, she was really somber and very somber. And one time I was with Daddy, and I was like, I wonder why she never smiles. He goes, "You never smile." I was like, "Ooh, you're right, I don't." And so I took that on. That was a challenge, and then I became the goofy mom. Everybody's favorite mom. All of her friends called me mom. She hated that because she didn't want to share me. But she would be embarrassed, but at the same time, I could see her smiling. You know,
Yeah.
because I'm like, I want my kid to be the type of person that no director says I don't believe happy. I don't want them to say that to her. I want them to see the joy in her, and we're still working on that. But me, you know, I got it. I'm not shy about it. I can be as serious as anybody, but I can laugh with anybody and I can find joy in every moment. And that is an ascension tool,
Yeah,
you
and
know.
I think one thing you just said that sticks out to me is that joy is contagious. Like
Yes.
when you are happy and when you are light and when you laughing and you animated and you the life of the party, it spreads. Like people who, are down, like it definitely will spread to other people. And like
Hmm.
you could uplift a whole, you know, place with your attitude and how fun you having. It's just a fact. So when we're talking about
That
ascension,
energy is so much more powerful. You can have a room full of Debbie Downers, and if you walk into that room and you shine your light, it turns it on for everybody. And then all of a sudden, the room goes from boring to really everybody starts laughing, and they don't necessarily know it's because you brought it in with you. They don't have to know. The key is not allowing your energy to be affected by what's there. Just because people think numbers are more important, no, 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 no. Love is a far higher vibration than fear. Joy is in passion and all of that. That's very high and that's very powerful. And if you walk into a room and people stay down, that's their choice.
right.
But it shouldn't affect your who you are. And usually without people realizing it, they are affected in a positive way.
So I know we're about to, yeah, I know for a fact this works because when I went to college, I was with a group of girls. We called ourselves the 505. The older women hated on us so bad. Like they hated us because we were freshman girls coming in, and they just, so when we went to the parties, they were talking stuff, they were trying to fight us or whatever. And I just went to the middle of the dance floor and just started like just doing what you were talking about, just dancing, having fun and laughing. It totally shut them down. All they could do was just sit back there and look crazy when everybody else started dancing and having a good time. So it went from us about ready to fight to like everybody just having a good time and vibing out. So it actually is very effective to just zero out that negative energy. Seriously.
Yeah, and I mean, and you have your moments when you don't even feel good.
Oh, they was mad. They was big mad at the young freshman girls coming up in there. All the junior and senior boys wanted to holler, but nobody wanted them. But anyway, I digress.
Yeah, because it's attractive. That joy, it is attractive. And there are people that really don't like you for that joy sometimes. But it's up to you to maintain it and to understand that they're just where they are. People
Yeah.
are where they are. There's always going to be somebody that doesn't want to play. There's always going to be someone that wants to sit in the corner and be sour. And they can have at it. They have every right to stay right where they are. But don't allow their energy to control
You
you.
you know what? And I've noticed lately the most resistance that I've been getting is when I'm trying to have fun. Like when I'm like when like doing a lot more spoken word, and I just do it, and I'll just be practicing and having fun, or I'll be dancing, or I'll be singing. And that's where a lot of the hate has like people don't like, hey Benny, like people really react negatively when you having fun. And
Yeah.
it's a thing. It's like
I
a
don't
for real
know. I
thing.
don't know if you saw this post I did the other day, but I did a duet. I had never done that before. I did a duet with this freaking amazing white boy
I
playing
saw it. He
house
was on that piano
music.
like
Yeah, he was playing this classical, mixing classical and house, and it was amazing.
Mhm.
And I just wanted to share the joy I felt. So instead of just posting or reposting him, I put it as a duet. And I had some hate. I was like, why you ruin the video like that?
Why was the hate? What was it? Because he got down.
Because they were saying, why did you put yourself in the video?
What?
Why did you ruin the video? Yeah.
Thank you, Benny. What?
Yeah.
Excuse moi. Excuse moi. But
Exactly.
you know what my response is for the haters that are the killjoys? Blocky.
You know what I did? You know what I did? This one chick was like, so why did you do that? And I said, because I
Because I want
felt joy and I wanted to share it with you and I wanted you to see my joy and maybe dance with me.
right.
And and she came back with a more positive reply, because
Oh yeah.
I didn't let her dry. Of course I thought about it. I was like, this BR, but
Uh,
but I thought about it. I was like, no, everybody has a right to their feelings, and she must be having a hard day, and it irked her to see me having so much fun. But that's not going to stop me from having so
so
much fun.
what is our lesson to wrap up this show? We're not letting anybody steal our joy, and we're gonna be as animated and beautiful and shining, and we're not gonna let nobody dim our light. What you think about that? What's your take on it? That's my take on it.
That's good for me. I just think it's important to remember that in order to accomplish all the work you want to do, in order to find the success and meet those goals, you have to be in a place of non-resistance, and joy will put you there.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
a
So
hundred percent.
thank you
All
all
right.
so much for joining us, and thank you for those of us who joined us late. I'm sorry we're going out, but we really love being with you guys, and we'll be back. I think next week. We'll see.
Yep. All
Yep.
right. Bye.
Love you. Bye.